Hello beautiful people, happy Monday and welcome to your little hybrid of a video. So this is going to be partially astrological forecast and partially practical application of astrology, and let's see what else is gonna come out of it, because we already started the new week. However, this week is very astrologically quiet, and this is going to be the case until the 14th of August, which is when we're going to be experiencing the Mars-Jupiter conjunction. So there is not very much going on astrologically wise, and also as we did have the Leo new moon yesterday and the energies were quite potent, let's just say, I decided to create this video today. And also I will be recording one more on the 8/8 portal, and I can't tell you what it's going to be because I don't really know, but I feel guided to create a video on that day. So today is going to be kind of like a composite or amalgamation of different themes. So let's just dive in. As usual, I would like to open this space for my spirit guides, for my higher self, my angelic team, and all the beings of light that wish to be present for this reading to deliver messages that will support all of us on our evolutionary path. Thank you. So let's just start with the astrology, shall we? So as I mentioned yesterday, we experienced the new moon in Leo, which we will see much more clarity with regards to what got seeded for us in the middle of February in Aquarius season, which is when we will be experiencing the full moon in Leo. We are entering this week, we already entered this week because it's already Monday, with moon still in the sign of Leo, and moon is going to remain in the sign of Leo until tonight, which is when moon is going to move into the sign of Virgo. However, today we already had some planetary shifts, and that was Venus. Venus moved into the sign of Virgo already throughout the night, and Venus will remain in the sign of Virgo until August 29th, which is right before Uranus will station retrograde and Pluto will move back into the sign of Capricorn for the final time, and also is right before the new moon in Virgo, which will be taking place on September 2nd or 3rd, depending where you are in the world. So also today Mercury stationed retrograde, and I can tell you I already experienced a little bit of trickery with regards to that, which I'm going to share. So Mercury stationed retrograde in the sign of Virgo on 4 degrees and 6 minutes, which adds up to number 10, endings and new beginnings. And Virgo will move back into the sign of Leo on 15th, I believe. It will be on the 15th. It will be right before, right after. Let me just double check this, but I believe it will be right after. Yeah, it will be actually 15, 14, depending where you are in the world. For me here in the UK, it will be on the 15th, but for many people across the Atlantic, it will be still on the 14th. Mercury will move into the sign of Leo, retrograde, right after the Mars-Jupiter conjunction, which is, like I said, it's when things start heating up for us again, but until that point, things are fairly quiet. So Mercury station retrograde today will move into the sign of Leo on the 14th or 15th of August, depending where you are in the world, and Mercury will station direct again on August 28th or 29th, again depending where you are in the world on your time zone, and this is when it will station direct on 21 degrees and 15 minutes of Leo, and Mercury will ingress back into the sign of Virgo, which is where he is currently on 9/9 portal, and this is a travel day for me, so let's see how that's gonna go. And Mercury will then remain in the sign of Virgo until September 26th, which is already an eclipse season because it's post the first lunar eclipse in Pisces and pre the final solar eclipse in the sign of Libra. So Mercury will be in the sign of Libra for that eclipse, let's just say. Okay, so this is all happening today. Venus moving into the sign of Virgo, Mercury stationing retrograde in the sign of Virgo, and Moon moving into the sign of Virgo later on tonight. Then there will be nothing going on tomorrow apart from Moon making a conjunction to Venus and making a square to Mars in Gemini. Then on Wednesday the 7th, we will experience Sun will make a sextile to Jupiter. This is their first, like, you know, major minor aspect since their conjunction, which took place on 18th of May, and we already mentioned this date last week because the conjunction between Venus and Uranus happened also on 18th of May. So on the same day, Sun made a conjunction to Jupiter in the sign of Taurus, still in the Taurus season. And this is the first sextile since, but as we know, because Sun is special, this has the flavor of the closing sextile, which is the Aquarian flavor, which is about liberation. Liberation from something that is no longer resonate. Jupiter is preparing for his conjunction with Mars, or Mars is preparing for the a conjunction with Jupiter, whichever way you want to look at it. But Mars is the rule of the North Node. Jupiter is our expansion of our consciousness. Jupiter is in the sign of Gemini. Mercury just stationed retrograde. Mercury is going from Virgo back to the sign of Leo. It's saying that there is certain adjustment that has to be made, and that is about the way we perceive reality, because it has to be more heart-centered. So this is a sextile, a supportive aspect. Okay, then what else we've got going on? Then on Thursday, so this is on Wednesday, Sun sextile to Jupiter. On Thursday the 8th, which is 888 portal, this is going to be a very potent day, because we are in a year number 8, month number 8, and this is the 8th day of the 8th month of the 8th year. So 888 portal, very powerful energy, as it always is, because it's called Lion's Gate, you know, but this year is extra potent because we are in a year number 8. So on these days, Venus, as the rule of the South Node, is making a conjunction to Mercury retrograde in Virgo on 3 degrees 44 minutes, which adds up to number 11. 3 plus 4 is 8, 3 plus 4 is 11. Also 3 is the number of expansion, is the number of Jupiter in Tarot, is the number that represents Empress, which is all about abundance, it's all about fertility, it's all about birthing something new. And the number 8, as we know, is the number strength, and in this case is a 44, which is a master number frequency, and 4 is the number associated with Saturn, number that represents structure. We are restructuring our reality. So this is all happening still under Moon, under the influence of Moon in the sign of Virgo. And actually right after this conjunction between Venus and Mercury, Moon is going to make a trine to Uranus, which is interesting because Moon is ruled by Mercury in the sign of Virgo. So is Venus, of course, because it's in the sign of Virgo, and Venus is the ruler of Uranus in the sign of Taurus. So the last conjunction between Venus and Mercury happened actually very recently. Venus and Mercury already had 2 conjunctions this year. So the first one took place in April, whilst Mercury was retrograde on April 19th, which was right before the full moon in Scorpio. And that happened on 17 degrees 33 minutes of Aries. As I mentioned, Mercury was retrograde at the time, and this was also after the second conjunction between Mercury and Chiron in the sign of Aries. And then the most recent conjunction between Venus and Mercury happened in Cancer on 17th of June, which was right in between the in between the Gemini new moon and Sagittarius full moon. So right before Jupiter moved into the sign of Gemini, and this one happened on 20 minutes of Cancer. It was on 0 degrees and 20 minutes of Cancer. So what do we have here? The first conjunction happening in Aries, cardinal sign, new direction. Second conjunction happened on 0 degrees, and actually interestingly, the first conjunction happened on 17 degrees. 1 and 7 is 8, and the 33 minutes is a master number frequency, so-called Christ consciousness, heart-centered consciousness, and number 6 is all about balance. So 8 all about strength, creating resiliency, and then the second conjunction happened in Cancer on 0 degrees and 20 minutes too. It's all about duality and partnership, right? Co-creation with the spirit, with our higher self. Cancer season, connecting with our intuition, recreating our sense of identity. This is Venus as the ruler of the South Node, Mercury as the ruler of Jupiter that is helping us to expand our consciousness and create a new storyline for ourselves and humanity as all. So this is very profound, and as I mentioned just now, they are making a conjunction in the sign of Virgo, which is all about how we're gonna do it, like learning and adjusting, hero journey archetype. Like we need to do it step by step, trial and error. Also with the Cancer, it's about going side steps, right? Because there is no direct path that is going to take us somewhere, because this path is going to look different for different people, and it is going to include making mistakes and having to stand up and try again, because there's Virgo. It's about learning and adjusting and continuously working on our self-mastery, but it's not something that's going to happen overnight. And of course, because of Virgo, being an earth sign, it's like Pentacles, it takes time, right? So the conjunction currently will be taking place in Virgo. Mercury once again is retrograde, and actually they will have no more conjunctions this year. The next conjunction between Venus and Mercury will take place in March 2025, right before the eclipse in Virgo, the full moon lunar eclipse in Virgo, which will be taking place on 23 Mercury degrees. And this conjunction will be happening in March when Venus will be retrograde once again in the sign of Aries. So this is all about new direction again, and this will be just before Mercury himself stations retrograde. I think that will be like a week later or something. It will be right after the eclipse. I think it's actually on the 16th, so 4 days later. So isn't that interesting? They have in a conjunction in April, Mercury is retrograde. This is all about us understanding that a new perception of reality has to be applied, a new way of thinking and perceiving the world around ourselves to help us to get through this tumultuous and transformative, fast-moving times of continuous change. And how is this all going to support us? It's by trying to look at things differently, trying to tap into our multidimensionality and go beyond where we've been before, because every single planet that moved into sign of Gemini this year made a trine to Pluto, and currently Pluto is retrograde, which is all about integration. Mercury is retrograde, all about integration, all about going over things. But as Mercury is going to move back into the sign of Leo, as I mentioned, right after the Mars-Jupiter conjunction on the 14th, this is about reconnection with our heart, to give ourselves new options and to go after different choices that are more heart-centered, that help us to reconnect with our joy. Okay, so this is Thursday, the 888 portal. Mercury-Venus conjunction, all about learning and adjusting and putting it into practice, because Venus is the rule of the South Node, which is the one we're trying to, evolve, like not move away from, because it's part of us, but it's no longer about looking to someone else or asking someone else about what that will look like for me, because only you know. And then simultaneously, right after that, Moon, that is obviously, connected to our inner world, our inner landscape. Moon is going to move into a sign of Libra, which is all about the balance. Like, okay, there is this conjunction, 888 portal, and right after that, Moon is moving to the sign of Libra, ruled by Venus. Venus is in Virgo, ruled by Mercury, and Venus and Mercury just had a conjunction a few hours prior to that. So, okay, now we had this conjunction, which is a reset of an energy that started, on June 17th in a sign of Cancer, because we are changing who we are. Cancer, ruled by Moon. We are redefining our inner landscape, because we had 2 full moons in Capricorn, redefinition, illumination of the structure that is now outdated, because the final full moon in the sign of Capricorn was on 29 degrees. In between we had a new moon in Cancer, the identity reset, and we've just yesterday had this new moon in Leo, which is all about us stepping back into our purpose. Like, we have to reclaim our authentic expression and that which we came here to do, because everybody came here with a unique purpose, and we're not going to find it by looking to someone else to tell us what it is, because it's inside, it's hiding within. So Moon moving into the sign of Libra, of course, right after Moon moves into the sign of Libra, naturally it's going to make a trine to Pluto retrograde, still in the sign of Aquarius at this point on 30 minutes, which is again number 3, associated with Jupiter, which is the expansion, and also the card of Empress in the Tarot Major Arcana. And then following day, on Friday the 9th, Moon is going to conjunct the South Node and make an opposition to North Node, which is something that is taking place every month. Also, Moon is going to make a trine to Mars and trine to Jupiter on the same day. Okay, and then technically there is nothing else happening for the entire weekend with regards to major aspects between the planets. Moon is going to be in the sign of Libra, for half of the weekend. Moon is going to move into the sign of Scorpio on Saturday night, Sunday morning. So this is how we're going to end this week and begin a new one next week. And in the meanwhile, we're going to have Vesta making a trine to Chiron, Juno making a trine to Pluto, and Venus making a trine to Ceres. So this is all supporting us with regards to where we're going, because these are aspects to, Chiron is in Aries, new direction, Pluto is in Aquarius, which is our evolution, and Venus is the rule of the South Node, being in the sign of Virgo. This is something that we currently learning to to work on. We are correcting it, we are healing these old patterns that came from someone else, that we are now trying to neutralize. We're trying to come back to the point of balance. And as I mentioned, the week after that, so a week from now, Monday the 12th, we're going to begin with Moon in the sign of Scorpio. But once again, there are no major aspects happening until Wednesday the 14th, which is the Mars-Jupiter conjunction in the sign of Gemini. And this is activating the Grand Mutable Cross, which will be fully active for the full moon in Aquarius, but that's of course for another video. So we have tons of things that are happening behind the veils, because as of this new moon in Leo, as I mentioned, like literally all that's happening this week is Venus moving to Virgo, Mercury station retrograde, Sun is making sextile to Jupiter, and Venus is making a conjunction to Mercury. That's it. You know, like there are two aspects and two planetary shifts. Of course, Moon is doing what she does, which is once again telling us how much our inner landscape is changing. So even though we might feel that, oh my God, the world is falling apart, all these things are happening in the world, changing in the world, there is so much energy that is wanting to be expressed in certain way, and it's up to us to decide whether it's going to express itself in a more high vibrational, low vibrational way. This is what Mars in Gemini does. It's about a choice, right? It's all about our way of think, how do we perceive reality, and what kind of belief system we connect to the information that we are, you know, like collecting from the external environment. So we all have a choice, and with these aspects, the only two that we have this week, you know, it's this Sun making a sextile to Jupiter, Sun being in the sign of Leo still, and this is on 15 degrees, so this is the Sagittarius decan, again about expansion and growth and knowledge, right? Our wisdom, our opportunity to choose a different direction. And Jupiter being a sign of Gemini, ruled by Mercury retrograde as of now, in the sign of Virgo, to be moving back into the sign of Leo. And Mercury is going to make 2 more trines to Chiron, and 2 more from the sign of Leo, 2 more squares to Uranus. So, you know, this is all challenging us to face these things that are unhealed within ourselves individually and within the collective consciousness, that are preventing us from moving forward, from leaving the past behind, because as we know, energy cannot be destroyed. It has to be like transmuted. It has to be transformed, transmuted, transcended. Energy cannot be destroyed. So all this energy that we are experiencing at the moment, it cannot just disappear. We need to work with this energy. We need to transmute it. We need to transform it. We need to use it to create something different out of it, unless we want to keep recreating the same pattern, re-experiencing the same situation that has been playing out on this earth for such a long time. All these lower vibrational situations that we are currently experiencing, of all these divisions, conflict, people fighting, all these wars and everything else that's going on out there, which is, yes, you know, we can say, oh, well, this is all this Mars, you know, and all these squares and all this Mars preparing to square Saturn, you know, like us against the structure and something. But the frequency of war is not going to create anything other than frequency of war, because we live in the universe that operates on law of attraction, law of mirroring, and this is one of the universal laws. This is not a made-up concept like most of the so-called truth are subjective perceptions of reality. This actually is one of the universal laws, which is applicable to everyone, right? So with all this quietness currently, while moon is gaining the light, because we just had the new moon in Leo literally yesterday, which is all about moon when it's like it has no light. We have the void moon, and then we have the moon conjunct sun, and then moon will slowly start gaining the light. The first crescent will be on the 8-8 portal, actually. Moon will have the first sliver, you know, the waxing crescent on the 8-8-8 portal, which is literally whilst Moon is in the sign of Libra and Venus, as the ruler, is conjuncting Mercury. So this is all about this opportunity to balance these energies, because we just had this portal, we had these new energies of this Leo, the new birth, you know, that this opportunity to reconnect reconnect with our authentic expression, reconnect with who we are, who we came here to be, with what we came here to do, what gives us the sense of joy and flow and authentic expression, and this just childlike innocence and giddiness and happiness, where we just forget about the seriousness and all these worries of the world and all these sorrows that we all placed on our shoulders to carry. When we forget about all of that, like, who are you? Your authentic expression. So with this new moon in Leo, which of course is right after this full moon in Capricorn, 29 degrees, and prior to that, new moon in Cancer, which is the identity reset, as we were talking about previously, we have the opportunity to reset the way we are co-creating this reality, because Leo is about creation. It's about creating something new, this fire. But we know Mars is in a sign of Gemini, close into Jupiter, in a new phase cycle with Uranus, because they just had a conjunction recently. So we need to do things differently. We need to make a different choice. We're not going to create a different world by doing the same thing, being the same way, thinking the same way, and acting in the same way. This is not going to work. Like, obviously, people might ask, well, okay, then what do we do? What is the solution? And there's a thing. In Aquarian age, it's not going to be one size fits all, because Aquarius is about changing the pattern. It's about breaking free. It's about liberation. It's about individuation, but also it's about healing the trauma, the things that are stuck and frozen in time because they were unresolved, because there was no consciousness, that there wasn't the level of consciousness to heal these things, to resolve these things, and to be able to go beyond these patterns, which is why we keep seeing them re-manifested, these low density energies over and over again. They keep following us through all these different lifetimes, and we think, oh my God, not again, not again, incarnation where there is a war or a conflict or a revolution or something going on, please, not again. But this energy is not going to go anywhere. We need to change it. And the way we're going to change it is by changing ourselves, because when we change, the reality around us, the world we are experiencing, has to change, because we create the world. We are the world, right? Like the song, we are the world, we are the children, right? The life, whatever it was, in London. So anyway, I don't know why that even came to my mind, but yeah, isn't that interesting? We are the children. Yes, we are the children. We are the children of God, or children of universe. We are the creation of the source. And now we came here to co-create a different reality, but we're not going to do it by doing what we've always done in the same way and being the way we've always been and thinking and responding to these circumstances in the same way. And what is the solution? Well, it's going to be different for different people. And this is where we all have to take the Capricorn hat on, put it on, the Capricorn hat on, take the responsibility for our own microcosm and say, okay, what can I do in my life, because I cannot go and stop the war, I cannot go and change these conflicts, I cannot go to resolve these problems of the world, the climate change, the economical problems, all these. Not a single person can do this. This is why even thinking that these new politicians, these new people that are being elected, they can just miraculously change all of that and fix it, like that. Like, this is a culmination of many years, decades, hundreds of years of something that just been going downhill, right? So we cannot expect one single person to just fix it all. Like, there is no such a thing. This is like where people waiting for the second coming, for the second Jesus or Allah or Buddha or someone to come and save the world for us, to sacrifice themselves again for the betterment of all. This is not going to happen. This Christ consciousness that is associated, or Christ, without trying to be religious over here, this heart-centered consciousness, the Leo, the heart-centered consciousness, it needs to be embodied by us. It's not going to be one singular person that is coming that is like, okay, I am the embodiment of the Aquarian age with the Leo consciousness and I'm going to fix it for you. That is not what's going to happen, right? Because this is also why Venus is conjuncting Mercury retrograde in the sign of Virgo, and Venus is the ruler of the South Node. It's saying, no, this would be again doing the same thing and giving our power to the other, this Libra, and they're saying like, oh, well, it's not my fault because this other person screwed screwed up, right? Like, nothing to do with me. And then I go and I protest, and it's, again, I'm not saying like, we shouldn't be able to express ourselves. And again, it's not okay for things to continue being the way they are. But what is the solution? I mean, what is the solution? I don't have the solution, ready for you to answer your question if you are asking. But it is going to look different for different people, and it is about us changing from inside out, right? It's about changing the inner landscape. And this is literally why we have almost nothing else going on apart from moon being very busy, because we cannot see the changes in the outer world yet. We cannot see them. We think, oh yeah, Aquarian age, world is gonna change, we all gonna be liberated, and it's gonna be all free and stuff. Then, like, how come that all I can see is this 29 degrees of Neptune, and Saturn in Pisces, this totality of manifestation of all this garbage that we accumulated throughout centuries of human history. And now we have to deal with all the muck, right? But some like, it's not gonna just disappear. Like, we all have to transmute this energy, and we cannot do it any other way than from inside out. Because if we waiting for the energy to just fix itself, and then I'm gonna be okay, when this energy fixes itself, I'm gonna be okay, then then we're gonna be waiting a long time. So yeah, so this is with all this Gemini energy and the Leo energy, even though we already have these ingresses into the sign of Virgo, and Venus, of course, will remain in Virgo, as I mentioned, until the end of August, it is the opportunity to, yes, put it into practical application, with, again, Venus leading the pack, like putting into practical application what we've learned, especially throughout this year, because we entered it with moon in a sign of Virgo, but actually the North Node, again, to keep repeating, when North Node entered the sign of Aries and Mars became the ruler, which was just over a year ago in July 2023, it's July 17th, 1 and 7, number 8, right? So Mars was in the sign of Virgo, and now Venus is in a sign of Virgo, whilst Mars is making a conjunction to Jupiter, right, in a sign of Gemini, which is saying about the choice. Virgo and Gemini, they square each other. There's going to be a square, right? And we know that there's going to be this grand mutable cross, because Venus is in Virgo, Mars, Jupiter are in Gemini, and Saturn is in Pisces, and actually I just recorded a video about this with Lada, and Moon is going to be in Sagittarius. There is a grand mutable cross going on up there. So this is all about changing of the season, the mutability. We need to be flexible. It's not like there is a fixed pattern how this is gonna look like. It's like going in a flow and just adjusting as we go along. It's like we don't have the full journey ahead mapped out. We don't have the blueprint. We don't have a manual. It's just about, okay, this is the information I have now. This is how I feel now, and how can I integrate this? How can I process it? How can I work with this? This is the Venus in Virgo. Like, okay, how can we do what can we do with this? Being practical, discerning that, okay, what is possible? Because also, like I said, to expect currently what's going on, in certain countries, including this country I'm at the moment in the UK, we cannot expect just because the government changes that everything gonna be fixed tomorrow. We would love that to happen, but it's not possible, because also these people that are passing on the baton to the next nominee, that they are inheriting all this mess that is already there. It's not like, oh yeah, there is a new mess created with that. But anyway, I don't want to go into politics over here. It's not my genre, it's not my arena, it's not my stage. But this is the Venus in Virgo. We have to be a little bit realistic, right? Because it's like, okay, let's just discern, is this actually possible? Is it possible to change all of this overnight and expect one person, to be responsible and fix it all for us, so we can just like continue like nothing happened, nothing changed, and and we can just go on with our life doing the same thing which we always done. This is not going to work, because also with the age of Aquarius, there will be no governments, not the way we experience in them at the moment, because this is a hierarchical system, from the top to bottom, the pyramid system. This is not going to work. Aquarius is two parallel lines, is about equality. So there is not going to be like, oh yeah, there is somebody in charge that say, okay, you do this and you do that. No, but this is again about us preparing ourselves to step into the role of being our own authority, being our own leader. Because again, if somebody tells you like, okay, from now on you're responsible for all your life, everything, blah blah blah, like, I mean, it sounds great, yes, but it is not as easy as it sounds. Like, for me currently going through the process of registering everything, like with regards to my business and stuff, and it's like, oh yeah, it's great to be self-employed, but then you're on your own, you're responsible for all of this stuff. Yeah, so it's like, okay, like, I didn't quite think it involves all this stuff, like all this was part of it, right? Like, we just think like, oh yeah, I'm on my own, I work for myself, it's all good, it's all self-employed, I'm my own boss. But I'm like, okay, well then here you go, you pay your taxes, you do your accountancy, you keep an eye on this and on that, and also all the rest of it, whatever else comes with it, right? That's what I mean. Like, we might think like, oh yeah, we want this change and we want this and this and this, but are we ready for it? So this is why, whilst Venus is in a sign of Virgo and Mercury is retrograde, and like since 14, 15 of August, Mercury going back into a sign of Leo, we have the opportunity to discern and then go into our heart, try to think from a less polarized point of view, because Leo in a higher frequency is is the inner child, is the gateway to the soul, it's our heart, right? So it's saying like, okay, well, if we try to think with our heart, not with the ego, because the ego always wants to be right, it doesn't matter who you're speaking to, the ego will always defend you and you will want to win. That's why if we start a conflict with someone and we speak to the person's ego, there is no winning, because everybody will hold their ground, because the ego needs to protect itself to survive. So it doesn't matter who is right or wrong, that each ego will try to protect itself and say, no, you're wrong, I'm right, because I need to survive over here, right? So so this is the thing. We're not going to resolve anything when we're talking to people's egos, right? Just like we see, again, on the world stage when you're watching politics, right? We just observe people talking to each other's ego. There is no heart. Very, very rarely, So we're not going to see much of a neutral approach. It's very polarized, yes? So with this Mercury going back into the sign of Leo, making two more squares, to Uranus. Already we had one square, going to be two more, and two more trines to Chiron, and we already, talking about the love affair between Mercury and Chiron because of their free conjunctions in Aries season. Just like, as I just mentioned, Mercury had not most recent, but prior to that, conjunction with Venus while he was retrograde in Aries as well on April 19th. So we knew as of April, when everything shifted because of the solar eclipse in Aries on in a new phase conjunction with North Node, we knew, we still don't see fully, more clarity probably by the full moon in Aries, in October, but we knew that something is gonna have to change, something is gonna have to give, and it's impacting everyone. But currently, we don't see much changing outside. We might think the world is going to shit and everything is being worse and everything is being more fired up, more heightened, more intense, yes. But we go like, well, where is the change? Where is this freedom, that we are talking about with the Aquarius? Well, it's not just gonna come on its own, but also how much freedom can we handle? Yeah, just like I just said, being self-employed, fantastic, but then it comes with a responsibility. How much freedom can we handle? Are we ready for it, to take the responsibility and say like, yeah, I am ready to be my own leader, I don't need you to tell me how to live my life. I'm ready to be my own leader and take the responsibility, but at the same time to respect you as your own leader without feeling that I need to push my opinions or belief system onto you because I feel threatened by your ego. My ego feels threatened by your ego. And I'm not saying again, I don't have this figured out. Trust me, I've just been going through my own through my own ego wars over here. So this is what I mean. And if we can't even sort it out in our own house, on our own doorstep with our own friends and family, it is much more difficult when you are facing a stranger who doesn't have an emotional involvement over there, right? So this is where, we are all connected. We are all human family, but at the moment the ego is telling us, no, we are separate. I have nothing to do with this person, they're not my family. They come from somewhere else. They believe something else. They look different and nothing to do with me, like I'm right, you're wrong, So this is what I mean. This is where with all these Virgo Pisces is always about healing. Venus is going to have an opposition with Saturn and Neptune, while she's transiting through the sign of Virgo. This is all about healing. This is all the opportunity to neutralize this intense energy that is so polarized, yes, but it has to start from within, because how many of us can say, oh yeah, I feel at peace inside of me, there is a peace inside of me. I'm good. I'm ready to hold the space, no matter what's going on outside of me, I'm good. I can come to the point of neutrality no matter what's going on. I cannot say that, unfortunately, and I've just been proven this in my own reality that actually 3 weeks in the environment that is not quite what I would choose normally, I am definitely struggling. I am struggling to hold my violet flame and my middle ground and be namaste. Not so easy. Like I said, it's easy from the theoretical point of view to talk about spiritual. The theoretical spirituality is easy, right? But when it comes knocking on your doorstep, just as it did on mine, not so easy. Because again, the ego wants to survive. It wants to be right, and there are certain familiar patterns, familiar way of thinking, familiar ways of identifying reality. There is this like a default mode, like when you restart your software or whatever, it goes, or your computer or something, it goes into default. It's like you have to add all, like whatever, reboot it. So there is a certain like initial software program which for each of us got installed between the age of 0 and 7, most of it. But then, of course, we build up on it, but it's not so easy to just change it, like, okay, yeah, I wish to think differently now. So as of tomorrow, I'm thinking differently. It is not going to happen because it is in our subconscious. And in many cases, majority of things we do throughout each day are operated by our subconscious program. And most people are aware of this. We are on automatic. We will respond, react automatically. There is a certain something that is familiar to us. Yeah. So to rewrite this is not going to just happen on its own. It actually takes a conscious involvement, like with this Venus in Virgo. It takes a discernment, like, okay, I'm observing myself doing something. I am not particularly proud of what I'm observing, and let's not go into judgment and criticism, because we know that is the stop sign. Just like I keep mentioning, and credit to Lee Harris, this is what he says. This is a stop sign. If you start judging and criticizing yourself, that's it. There is no further you can go with that. So okay, so I observe myself responding in a certain way, having certain reaction, no right and wrong, just observing it. Now, do I want to keep responding, reacting the same way? How does it make me feel? Does it make me feel happy, joyous? Does it make me feel stressed? What does it make me feel? Your body responds. Your body lets you know. How do you feel? How your body feels? Do you have now problem with your stomach? Whatever it is, headache. High blood pressure. Whatever it is, and then we can discern and say, like, okay, do I want to keep responding the same way, reacting the same way, maybe interacting with the same kind of people, environment, content, whatever. And this is the Mars in Gemini. It's all about the choice. Jupiter in Gemini. It's all about the choice. Mercury as the ruler. Gestation retrograde in the sign of Virgo. We have the opportunity to discern based on past experience and make a choice. Do I want to keep doing this or not? And because there is that square, from this Gemini to Venus upcoming in Virgo, because of course Venus is going to keep moving to Virgo. Gemini to Virgo opposition from Gemini to, Sagittarius, which is where Moon is going to be when Jupiter and Mars have their conjunction on the 14th, and the square to Saturn from the other side, in a sign of Pisces. Saturn is closing to Neptune, right? So there is a lot of pressure for us to release this energy, but how are we gonna do it? The choice is ours. Whether we want to break something or shout at someone or put someone down, or whether we try to go like, oh, okay, do I like the way I'm responding to this situation? Is it gonna make me feel better? Because this is also the card that my soul sees actually pulled for today, the Five of Swords, winning, but at what cost? Five of Swords, winning, but at what cost? If I win this verbal battle with someone, but how do I feel afterwards? Does it feel like a win? That I just put someone down or humiliated someone or beat someone up and stuff or whatever to prove my point so my ego is happy, how does it feel, right? So this is where we are trying to change the pattern, and it is not going to happen tomorrow, okay? This is the thing, Virgo, it's all about earth, it's about like we learn and adjust as we go through life. We learn and adjust. It's not going to change tomorrow. Unfortunately, we can already tap into the higher frequencies and have the visions of what we want it to be like, and eventually when more people choose the same vision, it will manifest, absolutely, but it's not going to happen tomorrow, okay? So this is the thing. This is what we are experiencing now, and especially under the influence of a new moon, there is no light. There is no light. It's all this unknown. It's all this like stuff in a shadow. Also with the in conjunction we have going on here, between, I believe it was the Pluto, Neptune and Venus, pointing to Venus, right? And currently conjunct Mercury. We don't know. It's all about trust. It's a blind spot. In conjunctions are a blind spot. We don't know. And also we cannot know because it's not going to look the same for different people. It's the Gemini. It's about tapping into different timeline, into choosing whatever you are a frequency matched to. The trine between the planets in Gemini and Pluto in Aquarius. It's going to be different for different people. We are breaking a pattern here. It's not going to be the same for everyone going forward. So it's up to us and the work we do on ourselves and the choices we made based on how much we've healed, how we're going to be experiencing the reality that's going to be forthcoming. And there will be a lot of things that will be taking place because we're kicking off. It's the 8th month. It's the month of the year which we knew was about strength. So these energies are now really manifesting and kicking off, and we are ready for it, even though we might not feel that way. But it's like, okay, well, I sign up for it. I was born at these times for a reason, and I'm here, so I must be ready for it, right? So it's all about this trust. Like, okay, there is something that is part of me, my higher self, that is going to guide and support me. And it's about the partnership. The number 2, the partnership with the spirit, like the last conjunction between Venus and Mercury in the sign of Cancer on 20 minutes, 0 degrees, 20 minutes. It's all about the partnership. And also 20 is like what? Judgment, right? In a tarot, 20 is the judgment, which is about transformation, is the answering the call, right? So anyway, guys, I think I'll leave it at that. 40 minutes in, I'm not going to talk about much about astrology. Well, here we go, 40 minutes later, but yeah, this week it's quiet because there is a lot of integration that's going on in our inner world, a lot of moon stuff, a lot of moon stuff that we cannot see yet, because all we see outside of us is the 29 degrees of Neptune, this like totality of everything that came before, and we go like, oh my God, how can we get from here to this golden age of Aquarius where everybody is free and singing kumbaya in a circle? How is that ever gonna happen? It's not gonna happen tomorrow. It's a step-by-step process. It's a frequency mismatch at the moment. So the more people raise their frequency by letting go of this past way of being, reacting, past way of thinking and believing, and I am in the same process, of trying, catching myself reacting the same way, like, my ego flaring up and telling me the same story to make me right and the other person wrong. And the main thing is to observe and catch yourself, and then it's like, okay, I noticed this before. I didn't notice that. I was not conscious about it. Now I see So now I have a choice, because if you don't see, you don't have a choice. You feel like you don't have a choice. You have a choice, but you don't see it. But when we see, when we catch ourselves, when we're conscious about these patterns, that are currently manifesting from the subconscious, because Saturn is in Pisces, Saturn is the manifester. So is manifesting these patterns of the past from our subconscious to make it conscious. Chiron is in Aries, Chiron is retrograde. These wounds are flaring up. They're coming up and they want to be healed and released, because we cannot move from here to the golden age of, this different reality we want to be experiencing with all this mess that is energy not healed and transformed, transmuted. It has to be done, because otherwise we're just going to keep recreating the same patterns. So anyway, guys, like I said, I'm going to leave it at that. I actually have a channeled message, my second one since I've been here, because like I said, it's not so easy to do my work, like the way that I like to have it done, and then, it is a bit of a challenge. So anyway, so I did channel a message for myself, which I'm going to share yesterday at the new moon in Leo, which was a very intense day for me, because I have a Cancer moon, as everybody knows, and I have a lot of planets in Taurus. So actually this new moon in Leo created a lot of squares in my chart, and of course an opposition to my Jupiter. So I had a fixed square, grand fixed square going on in my chart, and still do, because Sun is still there. So yeah, so I'm personally in my own little bubble over here experiencing a lot of squares, which is a lot of pressure to change. So, and it's not always easy, because, as I said, the ego wants to be right, and it's like, why should I change? I like the way the way I am and the way things are, right? But evolution requires it. Pluto square Pluto coming up, So anyway, let's just read the message. I said, what do my guides and starseed family want me to know? Want me to learn, actually, that's what I said. Okay, and this is what I got. Ride the waves of transformation, because they are not going to stop coming or get much calmer. You are in the midst of change, and the only way out is through. Don't resist or fight against the flow of life. Let it wash over you and through you. Everything will pass. Everything will change. Be kind to yourself and to others. These are not easy times, not for the most, I guess. Old wounds are coming to the surface to be resolved and healed. It's time to let the past go, but it cannot be done without resolution, without understanding, without learning and integrating the sorrows of the past. What preceded must be integrated. It will be remembered. Past will keep repeating itself until the energy of it gets transformed and turned into something new. The energy of anything cannot be destroyed. It has to change form for its manifestation to change. Everyone is dealing with their process differently in their own unique way. Each of you brought different tools to tackle the density of these times of change. There is no right or wrong, no better or worse. It just is what it is. It will be what it may. It's important to seek the middle ground in this all, the 0 point from which a new direction can be found, a new choice, a new destiny. You are all called to step into your authentic essence, into your purpose and destiny. Answer the call. It will not stop calling. The time is now. All is being reborn. All is becoming renewed. The old has to change. There is no going back. Even though some might want you to think that, some might even believe in that, there is no going back. The new is already here. It's already growing and setting in the strong roots of a new foundation on which the new earth is being created. You are the co-creators of this new earth. You came here with a mission and purpose to fulfill. Your life will never be the same again. You did not come back to keep reliving the same story. That is ending now. That process has passed. The process has passed its term. It has to culminate and be completed. The new is pushing its way through, and it will find a way to grow stronger and more resilient, because the journey is not going to be easy, but it doesn't have to be hard either. Choose the path of joy, dear child. Make choices with your heart and through your soul. You will open yourself up to a life filled with miraculous surprises and path of wonder and magic. Trust the voice of your soul and follow its calling. The time is now. There is no going back to the old. Embrace the new you, the new life you are creating for yourself and for each other, for the world that needs healing and a new chance to thrive. The energies are in your favor. Make your wish and release it to the universe. Trust it will be answered and manifested. Connect and connect often. Inner guidance is crucial at this time. Listen and follow the guidance within. It's ready to guide you. You are divinely loved and supported always. So here we go, guys. There is the channeled message from my guides to you. And I'm going to pull some cards. We have a little bit more time. So this is the card part of the reading. So if you prefer the astrological part, that is now finished. So let's see. I actually wanted to use this deck yesterday because it was the new moon. It is the wisdom of the night, the Nyx, because it is the new moon, which is the dark one. So let's see what Nyx wants to tell us. Let me just see if I have the right booklet ready. Okay, here we go. Okay, so guidance for the energy of the new moon in Leo from the Nyx, the goddess of the night. Okay, so what is it that we don't see and need to know? Okay, there is a card that flew out. The Warrior. Okay, and it is the number 2, partnership. So you are becoming a spiritual warrior. And at the bottom of the deck we have what? Let's see. High Priestess of Water, emotions. Number 4, interesting. Saturn. Okay, so the new stability. Saturn, obviously, Cancer, Capricorn, 4 and 10. It's created from within. Water, emotions. Cultivating emotional strength and being able to balance the energies from within. Okay, let's see what this warrior wants to tell us. My beloved child, when the warrior appears to you, it is such a fortunate sign that no matter what is happening to you in your life, you are truly protected. Whatever you are experiencing right now, all will be well. If your question is regarding love, this card represents someone who is deeply committed, protective, and kind to you. Friendship and love are sacred, and these qualities are important for a relationship to grow. If this person doesn't have these qualities, then move on, for I will send you someone with a true warrior spirit instead. Remember, life is about learning and discerning, Virgo. Learning and discerning who is true and who is not. There is another message here to consider. Do you embody these qualities in yourself? Now is a good time to think about how committed you are to your path. Okay, so this is also, your inner warrior has the opportunity to come out, spiritual warrior, the divine masculine in us, that is also the connection to our higher self, the protector. We are always protected. The Priestess of Water. Let's see. Dear one, when my vampire high priestess of water visits you, it is to remind you that all things change, like the powerful element she represents. After a transforming element that flows in rivers, make waves in the vast ocean, turns to hard cold ice and disappears as hot steam. Water can change into snowflakes, wild fluffy clouds, and rain. When you draw the symbol of water, it signifies a time when things in your life are changing shape right before your very eyes. Go with the flow, and these changes are powerful signs of wondrous experiences, lessons, and gifts. Even if you don't understand these changes at the moment, you will learn. Yeah, I'm also thinking about this, as the strength, like tap into the strength within, because we all have the tools that will help us to get through these times. It's just we need to seek them internally, not externally. It doesn't mean to not connect with people outside of us, but again, we need to discern, are these the right people for us or not, based on how we feel when we're around them. Okay, we're going to pull from angels and ancestors to see what is the guidance from our angels and ancestors, because we have the 29 degrees of Neptune and also Saturn in Pisces. So all the wisdom of our ancestors is available to us, also all the prior experience to help us to change this energy that we came here to heal, that was passed on to us by the previous generation, alongside with the gifts. Okay, angels and ancestors, guidance for the current times. Oh, there's too many cards. Too many cards flipping. Okay, this one. Hermit, retreat and recharge. Yeah, look at this beautiful Sri Yantra. And, his third eye being pointed out. With the red color, which I know is the color of protection, is to protect the third eye, but also the red is associated with the base chakra, so go within to create a stronger foundation. An eagle, see from the higher perspective. Yeah. Go within to see from the higher perspective. It's time to reconnect, retreat and recharge. And I know that was one of the other cards that my soul is pulled for us for this week. You can find that on her social media, the card pull, and also to find more information on her Marco Polo. And the card for Friday was the Four of Swords, which is about retreat and recharge. Okay, let's see Hermit, what Hermit wants to tell us, which is actually the card associated with Virgo in the traditional major arcana. Okay, retreat and recharge. Take time to rest and recuperate in order to continue your growth. Benefit from the information that will come directly from your heart space. About the Hermit card is one of solitude and meditation. It represents your capacity to go within and arrive at the cave of your heart. Many of the answers to your problems lie within, and if you don't take the time to connect with yourself and feel comfortable alone, you won't be able to hear the messages that are rising up inside you. The cross-legged meditation position in the cave dwelling sadhu on the card is an invitation to harness the power of your meditation practice. The Sri Yantra symbol behind him represents the union of the masculine and feminine. Oh, yes. Union of the masculine and feminine, right? Which is interesting because in original tarot, the number 4 is the emperor, number 2 is the high priestess. So here is like switched, yeah? So that's what I mean, like nothing is what it seems, things are being transformed, and we cannot look at things linear anymore. Okay, so Sri Yantra symbol behind him represents the union of masculine and feminine energies, hence support from Mother, Father, God. Extended message: you have been working hard and giving all to your current situation, and it may become draining and detrimental to your development unless you retreat and recharge your energies. So you are being guided to take a step back at this time. If you are working on bringing something together, your overall involvement could impede the process, so retreat and breathe. If you have something to say or do that could have a larger impact on your life, spend some time in deep thought, even contemplation, before moving forward. Often, when we rush in, we don't see how destructive our actions can be, so meditate and listen to your soul's wisdom before proceeding further. Yeah, before the knee-jerk reaction. What would the love do, yeah? Okay, and the ego, I'm sure we had this card before, seen from the higher perspective. This is all about this Jupiter being a sign of Gemini, making the choice to do exactly that, so we can expand. Ego. Here. Look at things from a different angle, fly higher and see new possibilities. About in animal medicine, both Native American and Celtic, the eagle draws his power and strength from the sun. Interesting. We are in a season of the sun because it's the sun in Leo, in the sign of his rulership. And yesterday the sun had its one and only new moon, which is ruled by sun. Sun and moon simultaneously. So he is a powerful, strong, and courageous guide who is able to see for miles. He approaches all things with intelligence, grace, and poise, and has the capacity to make a plan from a higher space before putting it into action. When the eagle card appears in reading, it shows that you have a real ability to take things higher and to move beyond the limitations of your ego and your selfish desires. Extended message. Eagle medicine swirls around you, encouraging you to recognize that your views or vision might be limited at this time. Is there a chance that your own desperation, needs, or ego could be blocking you from seeing the potential in your current situation? If there are other people involved, you are being guided to see things from everyone's perspective. If you are feeling the need for something to change, how can you take the higher road? Know that if you have intentions that aren't for the highest good, it will only hold you back. Eagle medicine can help you change this. The ego brings the energy of healing and love directly from the heart of Father Sky and invites you to do all things from a place of love. Yeah, and this is definitely something for me as well, the message with regards to my situations to see from the higher perspective, go within, see the deeper meaning of it all. Yes. Okay, now we're going to do the, what is it called? Oracle of the Hidden Worlds. I always forget the name of this card. Okay, let's see, what is this one? Okay, I think it closed. Let's see. Oracle of the Hidden Worlds. Yeah, here we go. Okay, let's see. Oracle of the Hidden Worlds, message for the new moon in Leo after effects. This is from Lucy Cavendish. Okay, this card really wants to be the sacred journey. Introversion, seeker, self-knowledge. Well, sounds like just like the Hermit. And it's number 30. Number 3 and 0. Again, we have the Jupiter frequency expansion. And look at the path, through the earth to something higher, to this gate, the ascension, yeah? The ascension, it goes through walking on earth, yeah? The Virgo, walking of earth, learning and adjusting, and we have all these candles, all these, is it candles or light beam, all these lights that are like, breadcrumbs alongside the way to guide us to our greatness, to our expansion, to the self-mastery, to going back home, but we have a work to do here, so there is a path to be followed. Introversion, seeker, self-knowledge. And at the bottom, let's see what is there. The meditation. There is no going any other way. Look at that. Look at that. Same thing, but she's sitting in the nature. He's sitting in a cave. And she's holding a light. Yeah, like a torch. Yeah, she's sitting in a nature. 26, number 8. Number 8. We are in a month number 8. And this is the year number 8. And we are just about to have 888 portal, which adds up to number 24. So there's number 6, right? Balancing. And we have 2 and 4, number 6. Of course we do. So peace, relief, and sanctuary. Yeah, this is the way. This is the way. From inside out. From inside out. Okay, let's see. Let's see what these two cards want to say, but I think it's all very self-explanatory. It's 1551. 1 and 5, 6, 6 and 6. 12, number 3. Again, this Jupiter, come on, like you can't make it up. How these things just continuously communicate with us. Okie dokie. So sacred journey. So there's this one. Those who walk the earth, remember. Sacred journey, introversion, seeker, self-knowledge. You have walked alone for some time now. You have turned inwards, so that great path that lies inside of us all, and have taken its many tributaries into the soul of your own self. You have discovered the things so many hide from themselves, and you have brought them to the surface, examined them, and found their beauty and their sorrows, and after knowing them, integrating them, have gone deeper still. Within that silent place at the heart of you, there is another temple, the temple of your soul, where your precious, most secret heart has laid in wait for you, a sleeping beauty, a wise wizard at the gate of your truth, and you have kissed your soul and accepted the whole of yourself. With this comes a reawakening and return to the world. Now your stillness and repose, which all the world has seen but not understood, will begin to express the wisdom it found at the heart of you. Too many journeys outwards, expecting to find the answers externally in gurus and teachers, in places and other people, in medicines and therapies, and all have their part to play. But if we do not seek the chalice within, we cannot drink from the cup of our soul, the crystalline waters of the self, and this, friend, you have done. The journey you have taken within has been challenging and full of risk, but you have made it to the center of you, and now that you know that treasures lies within, you can rise again and re-enter the world and know fully who you are and what you are, why you are here. Illumination, my time of deep quiet, leads to personal breakthrough. So yeah, so this is this is the how you say, potential. This is the potential of this, and of this. We go within, we connect with our heart and soul. We will have the opportunity to see things from a deeper perspective, balance the divine feminine and masculine, reconnect with our emotions, but also be able to act, on the inspired action. And then we know it all comes from inside. We will not find the answers outside. The outside just there are breadcrumbs, there are opportunity to learn from other people, but we have to discern for ourselves, decide for ourselves, because it's not one size fits all. So once we do that, the path is clearly shown. We know which way to walk, where to go, because the soul will guide us. And then at the bottom was this one, the meditation. So let's see. I feel that, of course, this is what precedes this one. Peace, relief, sanctuary. This being is in meditation, out in a wild beyond, yet deep within her own being. She holds a burning bundle of herbs, its smoke cleaning and clearing the human worlds, all the way from her interdimensional home. She is all the gifts of the natural world, the flowers and the herbs, and she is offering their secrets and gifts this day. In this stillness, amidst this beauty, she is holding the space for you to enter when you are ready, so you too can break away from the dominant reality, which is a lie, and enter into the truthful song of the spirit once again. Take a moment this day and feel your way into a piece of time that you can claim for your own. Remove yourself for several long, precious moments from the clamor and din of ego and of competition and of rush and hurry, and sink into the earthy realness of the land. In this moment, open up the eyes that lie within you, find your way along the pathways of spirit, and safely travel there, surrounded as you are by this cleansing, clearing smoke from the sacred bundle of magical herbs. Find your way to the place where you can explore and expand the expanding nature of your soul, its infinite light and possibilities, and spend a little while there, reminding yourself of who you truly are. In this way, you will knit yourself together again. The pain of expectations, of pressure of the physical dimension will ease for a time, and you will return refreshed and whole, with love guiding you. In this way, you will stay close to your own inner truth, and the pain of dissonance will slowly decrease until it is no more. Illumination. Meditation is no luxury. It is my soul's food and drink, and I will no longer allow my soul to go thirsty, to hunger for the true source that nourishes us all. So there you go. This is like literally all the cards are speaking the same thing. Go within, reconnect with yourself, create the meditation practice where we can just be still and go quiet, because this is where all the answers lie that will lead us in a, in a way that is true for you. Okay, let's just pull from the inner child, as we just had this new moon in Leo, which is all about the inner child, and then just one major arcana, and we close with that. So inner child oracle, to celebrate our inner child. And this is a season of Leo, which is all about tapping into what gives us the sense of joy and purpose, and feeling that this is my true expression. Yeah. Okay, inner child's message for the new moon in Leo and going forward. This is actually my second deck, because I didn't bring my inner child deck with me, so I ordered another one. Okay, here we are. Today is the day. Yeah, it's time to begin the journey. There you go. With this giraffe and this white bean, this is kind of like a strength card. We have the animal and the white bean, and there is a, the zeb, what is it, giraffe, yeah? It's got the butterfly wings, and then there is this, there is a storm in a distance, so, it's not going to be all easy, but look at the rainbow that comes after the storm. And yeah, and again, there is a being in the nature, reconnection to what's true to us. And, she's dressed in a white. It's like person from the past, but dressed in a white is the opportunity to purify the past and become someone else. Somebody very unique, like the giraffe with the butterfly wings, right? And also look at these two birds, two birds, again, seeing things from a higher perspective and releasing it to the spirit. So let's see what's at the bottom. Let it come forth. Give yourself permission to feel it. Well, that sounds like this girl over here. And this is 22, number 4. Stability. The only way to create more sense of safety and stability and security in our life is actually to be able to manage our emotions, right? And again, look at all these stars, and this deck is just so beautiful. Give your permission to feel it. Yeah. So today is the day, number 9, culmination, and number 22, master number frequency, but also number 4, if you want to simplify it, which is again Saturn, creating a new structure in our life. Okay, number 39. What is it? 36. Yeah, 36. Number 9. 36. So this is this lady over here with this giraffe with butterfly wings. Today is the day. It can seem overwhelming when you look towards the finish line of a journey you have not yet begun and see how long it will take to reach the end. But the finish line is not always where your attention belongs. It belongs in the space right in front of you. Your journey begins with one step and continues with the next step and the next until one day you will have arrived. If you have pulled this card, then it might be time to do what you have been putting off, right? So whatever that is. And then this one, let it come forth. So whatever it is that it needs to come forth, that we need to begin, that we have been denying to ourselves. Many things occur in life that we might be unable to process, and most, if not all, of these unprocessed events and emotions can be stored inside of us. If you help pull this card, then it might mean there is a repressed emotion, memory, or aspects of the self that is hindering you in your current situation. As repressed emotions can subconsciously fuel many of our behaviors and interactions within the world, it can be beneficial to explore this. Again, how are we gonna explore it? Yes, reconnect with the emotion and go within and meditate, like to be able to get to know ourselves truly. So yeah, today is the day to begin to feel again the things that we don't want to feel, the things we don't want to deal with, we don't want to see. So we have the opportunity to transmute it and give it back, give it back to source so it can be reborn. Also look at all these red flowers, to create the new stability in our life, the base chakra. Also there are butterflies at her legs. There is a butterfly. Also at her hands, butterfly. And also this waterfall behind her, the flow of emotions, so things can be transformed. Yeah, and again, purity. Allowing ourselves to become who we came here to be by like allowing the unhealed wounds of the past to be felt and wash over us, because they are not ours to carry any further anyway. Okay, we are 1 hour 12 minutes, so just pull Major Arcana and close with that. So Major Arcana, just the overarching energy, even though I feel these messages are so clear, like, you know, I don't I don't know what else we can, you know, be given, but it's really clear. Okay, Major Arcana guidance for post new moon in Leo integration week. Please, thank you, Spirit. Okay, what is the card that we need to know? Okay, Strength. Of course it is. We are in Leo season, and I keep talking about this card so much, allowing the higher self to guide the ego self, and then the path will be shown. How are we gonna reconnect with the higher self? Yes, that's the only way. Only way. And look at the infinity symbol. It's the unlimited potential of what you can be to walk through the earth. Those who walk the earth, number 8. 888 portal. This is exactly where we're heading in 3 days time. 888 portal. At the bottom we have the world. Yes, because the old is ending, is culminating. We only have one more Pluto retrograde through the sign of Capricorn, and that's it. You know, the cycles are ending, and we need strength and self-trust to be guided from within to take us exactly where we're meant to go. You're not gonna find it outside of yourself, because that, and interesting, upside down, that reality is ending, but it's not fully ended, obviously. We still see in the after effects of that, but yeah, this is the only way. Authenticity and reconnection with your higher self, with your soul, and with your true essence, to become who you came here to be and shine your true authentic light to the world, because it's needed. Okay guys, thank you very much for watching. If you are still watching, for coming this far with me. I would like to thank my guides, my higher self, the ancestors that's been present for this reading, all the angelic beings and beings of light that brought messages through. Thank you everyone for listening. Thank you for your time. And I hope that you found some value in this. And I will see you for the 888 portal with whatever that will want to come through. Okay, much love everyone. And I'll speak to you again soon. Bye for now.